Leg 2 of the US Triple Crown is upon us. We're not going to get a Triple Crown winner this year because Sovereignty is not turning up in the Preakness. But on the Turf and Touchdowns podcast, we're looking for 7 straight podcasts with a winner. We managed to get another one last week in the Peter Pan with Hill Road, Luke Elder, as always, alongside my good friend Tom Collins and informed friend Tom Collins.
Yeah, it's been, we've had a great week. You obviously finding the winner on Turf and Touchdowns. I've had a good week in the UK and actually with the US selections too. We both gave a good shout for Hill Road. You more so than me, but it turned out to be a dry track. This is the wonders of the weather in the US. It can look like it's going to be slop and then suddenly it's fast.
Yeah, only one of us made it the selection, but it's whatever. Who's counting?
Correct.
Actually, I'm counting because the last 6 podcasts, Tom, we've had, I think, 7 winners.
Yeah.
Because we had 2 in the NFL. But, it might be 6, whatever. But we've both put in 3 each. That includes Sovereignty as the joint one.
Yeah, and you know what? Have you seen this trend on TikTok with these people that are like not cutting their hair until Man U have won 5 games in a row or something like that until England have won the World Cup? Well, I was doing the same. I don't know if you noticed. I haven't had my hair cut since we kept finding winners, so I'm still waiting.
I was going to say, there's a guy out there called Gary that messaged me. He said, "I'm actually cutting my hair every time you guys get a winner. Bald, bald, just straight over. He gets 1 grade shorter every single time, and now he's just skin fade all over." Shout out to Gary. That's real. Right, we are moving on towards the Preakness this week. We're back with an NFL video next week as well. We are beginning to look forward to the NFL season now, where we are about 50% through the off-season, but we are also looking forward to 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. We are currently at 704. Thank you to everyone who subscribed in the last week, 2 weeks or so. We will hope to find another winner this week. And this week, give us a goal, Tom. Give us a subscriber goal. How many do you want?
I'm going to be realistic. I'd like us to get to 750 subscribers this week. So what? That's 46 extra. If you guys could do that, that'd be amazing. Just click the button down below. It takes you 1 second. It costs nothing. Basically alerts you to every time we put a video up. So it's actually quite helpful as well. And it helps us. So go on, whack that button and get us to 750, please.
Yeah, if you're out there thinking, I haven't subscribed, I could be one of those 46. Go ahead. We would love you to be one of the 46. In fact, be the first one. Be the first of the 46. Don't look at the subscriber count. Just be the first one. You're golden, and you're more than welcome here on the Turf and Touchdowns podcast. But let's dive into the Preakness, Tom, because no Sovereignty. We'll tackle that first. I think I know it's gone down with controversy over in America. I just don't think this is the right race for him. He had a cut after the Kentucky Derby, which will take a few days to get over, so it's a bit of downtime. I get it. I don't hate that they're not coming here. They're doing what's best for the horse.
Yeah, Bill Mott and Godolphin are doing what's best for the horse. You're completely right. They've made that decision. Obviously, winning the Derby, you kind of automatically push towards the Preakness, and I'm sure Connections contemplated running at Pimlico, but as you say, the cut wasn't helpful from that race last week or 2 weeks ago now, by the time you're probably watching this. And also, the quick 2-week turnaround is just not handy for a horse that probably has a longer-term goal in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and also, obviously, the Belmont and many other races along the way. So I think it's a good decision. I think this is the one race that Sovereignty wouldn't have been suited by, track and trip wise and pace setup and whatnot. We're expecting a smaller field. That probably doesn't suit a horse like Sovereignty, but equally, it is a little bit disappointing that we don't talk about a Triple Crown potential candidate this year. We always like to have that hype and furore around a horse, and with Sovereignty, I'm pretty sure he has the talent to go very close to maybe winning a Triple Crown. All things considered, maybe they have to amend a few things in the Triple Crown schedule for that to happen again in the near future. But yeah, I'm not all that bummed that Sovereignty is not running in this race.
Yeah, I mean, the Triple Crown is meant to be hard to win. You're not meant to be suited to every single race. That's why we don't get many of them. But no Sovereignty in the Preakness this year. But it does leave us with this slot. And this is the international market that you could take the prices right now. Journalism is even money favourite, best price around. River Thames is 6-1, Sandman 7-1, Clever Again 7-1, 8-1 Goal Oriented, 20-1 American Promise, Gosger at 25s along with Heart of Honor, Pay Billy at 66-1 as well. Those prices, they might not make a great deal of sense to you. They are the best available. There are multiple firms that have priced it up, so the over round might be a little bit skew with them. But we'll start with pace, Tom, because there's 9 in here. there's quite a lot of pace on, honestly. A few of these will want to go forward. The ones that won't, I mean, Heart of Honor, Journalism won't want to go forward either. The rest have claims, honestly.
Yeah, there'll be quite a few pushing forward. Smaller field, as we've already said, than the likes of the Derby, but plenty of these actually want to be on the front. So I do expect that we're going to see solid fractions. Not Derby like fractions, but solid fractions. Baffert drew the rail again, this time with a different horse. Obviously, Citizen Bull in the Kentucky Derby. Here, goal oriented. I imagine they'll send. It just looks like it's kind of the only option they've got with this horse. So he'll push forward from one. I think American Promise, who was up there early, through the first quarter in the Derby. I think he was in third, going around the first turn. He'll be forwardly placed from a good inside draw as well. Clever again, the new face on the scene, if you will, also has bundles of early speed and has made every single yard on his last two outings. So there's going to be at least three horses across the track in the early part of the race. I don't think any of them are way faster than the others. So maybe we'll see a duel up top, and that would set it up for the closer.
It would. The closers in here say there are a handful of them, but we'll start with Journalism because I know he's not necessarily a closing type when you think of the likes of a Sandman or you think of a type of Sovereignty, horses like that. He can sit mid pack, he can stalk. Honestly, he's very versatile. We saw him in the Santa Anita Derby overcome a bit of adversity in the run where he got hampered, and he still managed to run down Baeza. Neither of us were really enamored with him for the Kentucky Derby. You preferred him more than I did, and he ran a great race, and Baeza did as well. That Santa Anita Derby form looks very strong. But again, things went wrong for him in the early part of the contest. I kind of like that as well. It's a massive, massive compliment, Tom, towards his constitution and his mind frame, in the sense that he didn't just pull really hard after that. He managed to relax into the race, and he ran great.
Yeah, he ran really well. The first two, well, maybe one furlong, I'd say, in that race was a little bit awkward and not ideal for connections of Journalism. He took a bump, he was shifted towards the inside, took another bump, but he did find himself in a good slot. And after the first turn, he was actually in a good position throughout. Got a lovely run through on the final turn as well, coming into the home straight and threw it right down to Sovereignty and was just second best in the race. That's taking nothing away from Journalism's performance. I thought it was a career best, albeit US speed figures, interestingly, don't agree, but we do know West Coast figures are sometimes inflated. Prior to that, the Derby run, obviously, he ran very well on the West Coast, winning a couple of trials. So this is a horse with a really good profile right now. I thought he ran great at Churchill. Michael McCarthy wasn't certain to run him here in the Preakness. They wanted to see how he would come out of the race, and he's been showing them all the right signs, which is just a tick in the box. Obviously, with the quick turnaround, that is always a big issue. Preakness, Pimlico, I'm not 100% sure they're going to be ideal for Journalism, but they're better conditions than they would be for Sovereignty. So I'm not dead against Journalism running in this race. The weather forecast, long range, suggests plenty of rain this week, which would be absolutely fine for him because we saw how he handled the slop in Churchill. However, Friday and Saturday actually looks quite dry, and there is a meteorologist in Maryland right now who's predicting a fast track on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that really matters with Journalism, but it does matter with a couple of the other horses in here. Journalism is very versatile. On what we know, he's the best horse in the race.
100%. He is such, as well, Tom, a beautiful looking horse. Obviously, NBC put loads of coverage into him. You go into it, it's a Kentucky Derby favourite. But aesthetically and physically, he is just the perfect looking racehorse.
Yeah, he is. And it always provides another bit of confidence, doesn't it, when you see a horse look like that on the screen? A big beast, a big unit, a lovely walk to him, big stride. He is kind of the perfect horse. And we were a bit down on his chances going into the Derby, but I think it was more about price. Well, it definitely was more about price rather than actually his talent. It looked like he was slightly overhyped based on his West Coast form. But in the Derby, he proved he wasn't overhyped. He ran very well behind what we both think is an excellent horse. So if he can just step forward or even repeat that run, I think he'll take a world of beating here.
Yeah, I think repeat the run is the optimal sort of fact going into this race. We talk of beautiful horses. Sandman is very much a standout. He's grey and he's getting whiter with every single day. I know he came 7th in the Kentucky Derby. I was a little disappointed, I'm going to be honest with you. The race was run perfectly to suit. He made his move throughout the race with Sovereignty. It favoured hold-up horses. Baeza, I know he had a bit of a torrid passage through as well, but again, he still came from a little way back. I just feel Sandman should have run a touch better than he did.
I kind of agree, but kind of disagree as well. He ran a fine race in 7th, as you say. There were no excuses either. He settled in the position towards the back of the field as expected. Got a nice run round, albeit wide on the track, but that was always going to be the case in a 20-runner Derby. And yeah, he ran seventh. He passed tied horses late. The reason why I disagree is I didn't really expect him to go close. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
he's just a Grade 2 horse. To be honest with you, he could win a Grade 1, but it needs to be a weak one. His Arkansas Derby victory was nice, but I don't think that was much of a race, and it really did set up for him. Other than that, his form has been kind of Grade 2 caliber. I don't like him in this spot. I love the horse personally. I think he's a really nice horse. I love the connections, and I like the hype that he's getting on social media. But I don't think he's good enough to win this race. I like that he's in the field just purely because he's another horse wheeling back from the Derby. Interesting jockey booking, don't you think? Johnny V taking over.
Yeah, obviously, there might have been one or two other options in the contest, but yeah, I didn't expect it. Honestly, regards to Sandman. Honestly, it's a jockey booking I don't love.
No, me
Like
neither.
Johnny Velasquez is a very good jockey, Hall of Fame. I just think they're better around at the moment, and you could have gone bigger, regards to the Preakness. But Sandman has absolutely got a chance. He does need to up his game quite significantly, as does River Thames. Now we saw River Thames finishing a decent second over at Gulfstream Park behind Sovereignty. That was in the Fountain of Youth Stakes. He then went on to Keeneland. He ran in the Bluegrass behind Burnham Square, tipped fantastically by our very own Tom Collins. Finished third that day. He didn't run bad. Again, he's kind of like Sandman. Didn't run bad. Don't think he ran great at the same time, though.
No, he seems to be a cut below the top 3-year-olds right now. Saying that, he's only had 4 outings. Sandman's a bit more experienced, so maybe there is some improvement to come from River Thames. He has tactical speed, which could be interesting in this race. I expect him to maybe sit third or fourth in the early part, probably fourth. And from there, he'll have every shot of winning if he's good enough. I've got two big concerns. One, his actual talent level, as we've already talked about. But two, the trip and the way this race is going to pan out. In the Bluegrass, he ran well, but he finished at that one speed. And actually, it was very much the same in the Fountain of Youth, which is why Sovereignty managed to come from 4 lengths behind with a furlong to go and run him down. I don't think he's the strongest of finishers over the trip. They actually started this horse over 6 furlongs at Gulfstream. And to win at 6, going on the dirt at Gulfstream, a speed favouring track, you have to have lots of pace. It's not really one for the stayers. So I think this is more of a speed horse who could reroute back to a mile in time. They're trying their hand at the Preakness. He could show up, but he's not for me.
No, I completely agree. I think he's just that step below what you might well need to win, not just a Preakness, but a Grade 1 at this sort of caliber. One of the more interesting horses in the race is Clever Again. We've got a couple of them to tackle who are coming from way left field. Clever Again is one of them. A couple of starts at Oaklawn Park more recently, managed to win their Hot Spring Stakes last time around, beating Gaming. Look, it's not bad form, and he absolutely whooped Gaming as well. So it wasn't a case that they got into a battle. The further they went, the better he looked. If he does get on the front end and he gets a bit of a softer lead, which I don't envisage happening, I think he could run well in this spot. However, he's very much thrown in at the deep end.
Yeah, he really is. He's a new face on the scene. Jose Ortiz opts to side with him instead of Sandman, which is interesting, I suppose, considering Sandman's already proven himself a little bit in this division. Clever Again hasn't. That win last time was impressive, but he did make every yard, as he did on the start prior. And his first outing, he ran over 4.5 furlongs, which is just obviously not suitable for him. So he's done nothing wrong in his career so far. He's an interesting horse. I just don't know if he's good enough. He's never
Mm-hmm.
faced a horse with the caliber of journalism, or even Sandman, to be honest with you. So we'll see with Clever Again. But what price did you say he was?
He is currently 7-1 best price.
Is that not just like a little bit too short based on what he's
Mm.
done? I think he's going to go off shorter than 7-1, to be honest with you. He'll probably go off around 5-1 mark, and I can't play at those odds. Maybe if he was 10-1, I could envisage a little each way play, hoping the speed will hold up. But he hasn't done enough to warrant a play at anything sub 10-1 for me.
I totally agree. I had him at the double figures marker as well, probably 10, 11-1 around that. It's just a case of whether he's actually good enough. And even outside of journalism, he's taken on some very good horses here, and horses that he hasn't, as you say, met the caliber of as of yet. The other sort of left field interesting horse in the race is one that we've kind of already mentioned, but goal oriented. It is drawn in stall 1. Look, he has done absolutely zero wrong so far in his career. He looked very good on the Kentucky Derby / Oaks Day undercard, and he's a horse that I'm sure they probably thought about the classics a little while ago, but he wasn't able to get there. He comes to the Preakness instead, and he does replace Rodriguez. Now, therein lies a slight problem, because when he was pointed towards this race, Rodriguez was still in, and we were sort of thinking, well, that's an interesting one. I wonder why he's gone for both. Rodriguez came out like 2 days later. That's why he's here. He's the super sub, and I don't think this was his first plan.
Completely agree. Yeah, I don't think he'll be in this race if Rodriguez didn't have his foot injury. Interestingly, did you see that Rodriguez actually worked about 2 days ago? Supposedly
Really?
injured. Bit odd. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but Baffert does what Baffert does. This horse won very nicely, going 6 panels at Santa Anita first time up, a trip that wouldn't have suited him. Came back in an allowance race on the Derby undercard, as you say, and he won as expected. I really liked him that day. He went off a short price favourite and he got the job done. But he did look in a bit of trouble at the top of the
Mm.
turn before kind of re-rallying and going again. In here, he's going to be forwardly placed, as we've already talked about. He'll probably duel on the front. We don't know if he's good enough. I quite like the fact he's in the race purely because of his upside, and obviously for Bob Baffert to have a runner, that's quite interesting. But equally, I can't bet him.
No, I totally agree. But it would not shock me if he were to run a massive race. Currently 8-1, goal oriented. We'll mention a few of the others. Let's mention our horse. I say our horse, English horse, in Heart of Honour. Fair play to Connections for going over and having a go. Obviously, Jamie Osborne, we know he loves sending a horse over to America to have a crack at one. He did it with Toast of New York a few years ago, almost managed to win the Classic in doing so. His daughter Safi takes the ride. Safi's a very, very good rider, but she's going to have to be brilliant to get Heart of Honour to win.
Yeah, it's amazing that this horse is in the field. I love that international angle. We don't see it much in any of these Triple Crown races. So full kudos to Connections. The horse actually ran really well several times over in Maidan. So we know he handles dirt, albeit it's a different kind of dirt surface than what he'll get at Pimlico. He should be forwardly ridden, but not on the speed. He has tactical pace, but it's European tactical pace rather than US. So I think he'll probably be mid-div, but I don't think Safi will want to be too far back. He's going to need to produce a huge career best to win. There's no doubt about it. He actually got beat by a Japanese horse in Maidan, who then ran, I think, last in the Derby. So the form doesn't really translate, but I love the fact he's in here. And for anyone who doesn't know who Safi Osborne is, because I've looked on Twitter this week, a couple of these US posts just showing the field, and there have been comments saying, "Who's this Safi Osborne?" I understand that you might not know who she is. She's not a huge name on the international scene, but she is very, very good. Last week, she won a race called the Victoria Cup Ascot. She was perfect on a closer, weaved her way through, super powerful late in the day, and managed to get the job done. Do not sleep on Safi. The horse may not be good enough, but the jockey certainly is.
Yeah, a lot of the time when you see a trainer's son slash daughter, you look at them thinking, you're getting rides because of who you are. Keith and Eric Asmussen, decent riders, but they wouldn't be getting the rise that they are if they weren't the son of Steve Asmussen. Safi Osborne has earned her way into this role. She came through the ranks as a claimer. She had I think it was an eventing slash show jumping background, and when she came in, I remember everyone was saying, "Wow, her balance is absolutely incredible in the saddle." But she's a very, very good rider. She thinks about racing a lot as well. But as I say, she has gone and consulted the likes of Steve Korth and loads of top class American jockeys from yesteryear regards to riding in the Preakness. Her prep will be second to none in a race like this. However, just whether Heart of Honour is good enough. Best of luck, Jamie Osborne. Well done for sending your horse over. It makes the race far more intriguing from our standpoint, and I hope Heart of Honour runs a massive race for you. Anything else that you wanted to mention in the race of the other three, Tom?
I'll give them a quick line each. Goskar's a really nice type, won the Lexington last time, but draws an outside post here, probably not good enough. American Promise could go well, actually, for Dwayne Lucas. Again, great to see him have another runner in the race, the octogenarian. He won this race last year with Seize the Grey. Probably not good enough in here, American Promise, but he got a bad trip in the Derby. We didn't see him at his best that day. I just don't trust his colonial form prior to that, but some people will, and he will take a little bit of money. And then Pay Billy's the other horse, and he is just outclassed.
Yes, the Pay Billy is 66-1, the outsider of the field over in the UK. So that's a look through the entirety of the field in the Preakness and sort of a line slash more on every single one of them. Let's move, Tom, into our selections.
What's it time for?
If you're new here, by the way, and you're listening in the car, turn the volume down right now. I'll give you 2 seconds. 1, 2. It's time to join play.
Love it. That was one of your better renditions of it as well.
You know what I like when you always do it?
Go on.
Because it's not your part, and I made it up and put it in. You always get really flustered by it.
I do, yeah.
So then you add in extra words. You always go, "It's time for the joint play."
This is why you do it and not me.
Yeah, I know. It's just nice to see you do it though, because you really attack it. You go for it.
You've got to. Everything in life you've got to attack. There's a little bit of a life lesson for everyone out there.
Exactly. Let's do it, Safi Osborne. Right, Preakness, the joint play. I think you probably could have gathered it regards to what we were saying when we were talking about the horses. But journalism is the play for me. It's going to be the play for Tom as well. Honestly, the price is a big factor in this. I kind of expected journalism to come in here and be 4 to 7 ish, very short anyway, and kind of unbettable at that price. The morning line came out, and the morning line was 8 to 5. Spoke to you about it and said if he's 8 to 5, like, then he's going to be a crazy price. They've got that entirely wrong. He's not even odds on. He is odds on in one place over here, but 10 to 11, barely. But even money is readily available, Tom. I think that's a great price about the best horse in this race.
Completely agree. Journalism, yeah, that's my selection. He'll go off 4 to 6 or shorter in the UK. Over in the US, probably 3 to 5. I think he wins. A repeat of the Kentucky Derby performance would be good enough. No doubt about that. Just needs to get the right trip, and I think he will. We're going to have a contested pace up top. Doesn't matter about the track surface. He goes on fast or slop. Gets a lovely inside post to ride the rail. I don't really see a negative aside from the 2-week turnaround, but the way he's been looking in the mornings to me suggests that he is A1. Journalism for me, I think it's going to be a one-horse race, and hopefully we're cheering him home.
Yeah, that was a concern for me, the quick turnaround. He did finish tired in the Kentucky Derby, yes, and I was thinking, well, I don't know if you're going to go for the Preakness, but as you say, he's looked good in the mornings. He's looked fantastic physically. Umberto Rispoli's come out and said, look, he's ran really well off the back of a quick turnaround in the past. I've got no real issue in this. Look, if Connections want to give it a go and turn up here in the Preakness, I'm absolutely fine with his condition. If he runs up to what he did in the Kentucky Derby, I think he'll take a fair bit of beating. Let's break away from the running order, Tom. Give me a 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, okay. Journalism on top. In second, I will have. Oh, that's a good question. I'll have goal oriented actually, just to hold on and plug away off the front, and then in third, give me Sandman to run past the tired rivals up top.
Okay, fair enough. I thought we were going to go for the same 1, 2, 3 then on a left field one. I'll go journalism. I'll go goal oriented. I think he's the horse that can beat journalism if there is one. I think Gosga runs a massive race. I can see Gosga running third at a massive, massive price. He's 25 to 1 at the moment, but I thought he looked brilliant last time around, albeit at a much lower level. I could see him running very well, but I'm not going to say it's a joint play on the forecast, but we've got the same 1-2 at least in the Preakness. But journalism at even money is the selection for both myself and Tom. We're looking to make it 7 straight podcasts with a winner. And for that reason, you should subscribe down below. Leave a comment. Let us know who your Preakness selection is. We'll be back next week with another horse racing video. And if you are new here, we do NFL as well. So we'll be looking forward to something regards to the NFL. Today, as we speak, Tom, the schedule's getting released.
It is. It might be something to do with the schedule, actually, and therefore an anti-post play in regards to a team winning a division or the Super Bowl, maybe, based on the strength of schedule that these teams will get. So look out for that NFL podcast next week. In that, we'll also be giving away those Listener League spots that we advertised in the last NFL podcast a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, there's horse racing pod, as you say, not great racing next week, but we'll still produce a podcast and hopefully find a winner. But it's also a big week, Luke, for another reason. It is the rematch, the Tom versus Luke golf rematch. We're going to see a return to form for Mr. Collins, that's for sure.
Pressure's off for me.
It is. You've already done it.
People out there know that I'm a winner. Whereas when they think of Tom, they just think loser. And they think, well, he really needs to turn himself around. Tom is like the Bryson DeChambeau. This week in the PGA Championship, he fell apart in the Masters, but Rory's still there. Rory's going to be around. He's trying to go the whole hog. Whereas, I mean, little Bryson at the back, I don't know.
No one's ever described Bryson as little, by the way. But yeah, we're playing at the same course. So you've got the course form, but we'll see. And we'll update how that goes as well in a couple of weeks' time, I'm sure.
Yeah, also, Tom's sitting there. It's like, I'm Bryson. I'd take that.
I'm taking that all day.
We will be able to discuss that next week on the podcast as well, because I think we're playing on Thursday. So this is a precursor. Everyone get ready for it, and we'll get your picks in next week with regards to our golf rematch that Tom desperately needed. But that is it for us on the Turf and Touchdowns podcast this week. Subscribe, leave a comment, share the video down below. It all helps massively. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back next week twice on the Turf and Touchdowns podcast. Until then, stay safe, look after other. Goodbye.